What's good, YouTube? And welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist going so stir-crazy for a ban list, they're falling for the fake ones, and over 100 copies of Galaxy Tomahawk between the original and the Mega Pack version sold. If you filter towards light play, some of those moved as well, and it's kind of wild to think we're only going to get into an age of misinformation in the future that goes further beyond. But some big names fell for this one, cash actually got spent, so maybe take it as a cheaper lesson with a card like this that I would think could never come off the list unless it got a huge errata. Maybe take a little bit of time before overreacting and jumping at things, but I also do get, when it comes to ban list time, some of the money to be made there or cards to get obtained for cheap, you have to be very quick on, and things just go in like 5 to 10 minutes from a list dropping to even sooner than that. But speaking of ban list, the fears are very real, with a ton of people putting their money where their mouth was also, and stepping away from this format till the ban list was there. I said I thought that this might fall under triple digits and certainly hoped that it would, and I got clapped back. No, this is only gonna go up. You're gonna see 120, 130. It's gonna continue to rise in price, and people dogpiled on me for that, yet here we are, stepping away into Banlist Fears and 8-round Houston Regional. I couldn't believe my eyes and ears when I heard and saw that, but $95 is the highest on the front page, and we're not even to triple digits on the second page for Engraver. I say good, let it fall further, but I do think unless there's a huge hit, indirectly is what it's going to need to be too, around this engine, like Beatrice, you're going to see this immediately skyrocket back. And how on the ball will Konami be? I hope they're taking their time crafting it, because this was the Houston Regionals. Now, Dahlia does emphasize this isn't dooming. She loves these events. She wants them to do better. And I personally was at the Sprite one where they capped, and 560 duels. They were turning away people. They had a huge line out the door, and it was crazy to watch then. And now we're probably under a third of like the actual amount of people that showed up for that one. And Indianapolis, I heard, had very similar results. So I think this kind of letting cards go in Banlist Fears is natural, but on top of people backing what they said they would do, we're in an I told you so range right before we get to a I was wrong range on the next card. But Fiendsmith Engraver, even the quarter century secret rare, we're seeing top rated sellers let it go cheaper than ever at $210 for that version that should be a little more ban list proof, and if the engine gets compacted and it's more specific and people are still playing, well, this will be pretty good. But yeah, they're letting it go a lot cheaper than it was going just a week ago, right? Mole Charmy, however, is where I was wrong. I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna get power crept by the next one. Nope, people are probably gonna end up playing them together. My player brain was so wrong there. And a lot of people testing that say that's the way to go, and it is stabilized at 50. This is directly to show that this card is likely impacted by Banlist Fears, where people are still spending their money and pushing towards something they think they can use next format. So I do think it is a lot of duelists waiting for that list to play or make their decision to sell off if the list is not for them and wait till the spring format. I do think we're going to see an interesting shakeup of events. Now, this one is more Reprint Fears in my opinion, but my Discord brought it up on how burnt out Fire is. Age of Overlord is up for its reprints, but I would have thought this would have fallen towards like $6 where it was trying to stabilize pre-reprint, and we can see here trying, and it's just completely fallen off and is available at $2 and through 3 on this front page. So yeah, burnt out on Fire sounds about right. And then even Ubel, which is a fan favorite. It is, somebody commented I said fan favorite way too much in my last video, but I was bringing up example of niche rogue decks that are favorites to loved archetypes from the anime, and this hits both into a metagame more than rogue. But Ubel cards were trying to be a much bigger amount of money. We can see here with the Ultra, even past pre-sales, like more towards, 8, 9, and here they are lining up at $6 for the Ultra, a third fall off. But the quarter century secret rare was trying to be $150 for over an entire month and has fallen off to under half of that, around $80 to $90. So it's wild wild because this one was mentioned in the YCS article of decks they might be looking to hit, and again, like, how are you going to hit it directly and sell the reprints and fix this format? Konami's in a weird place, and we'll have to wait to see how they adapt. Speaking of ban list changes, Change of Heart could go up towards 3. I guess it really could. And we see here that the quarter century secret rare is getting a little targeted back and low on copies, and the Pharaoh rare is also starting to go up in price. Just a head speculation of people going, it could get bought out and I'll make money. But we've seen also that when things peel off to 3, sometimes there is a little spike and then it falls off for good when it isn't performing. Now, at the Houston Regionals, we saw a Dragon Control deck do pretty good. Light and Darkness Dragon Lord. With that, the quarter century secret rare was climbing up a little and has skyrocketed here towards $45 to $50. You can check out the winning list by Francisco Vargas over here on Bortles' channel if you'd like. And I went through looking for cards that might have gone with it. And Super Black Metal Dragon, there are easy access commons still, but the super rare is spiking back up and selling very fast. We have one here at $14.50 before they are $18, and you can see the direct correlation of sales of all of these being right around the list versus it was moving but not quite that much. Also, I'd like to point out in his list, Borreload Furious Dragon is played. I've brought this up as a penny stunk multiple times on Market Watch in the past, and I've got to say, for its only one printing still today, I don't see where a reprint is on the horizon unless we get a curveball reprint, and it's still only $2, but was played in here, and I feel like keeps finding its way into certain Dragon Link deck list. Now, preparing for Malice and stepping away from ban list / current format hype for a little bit, Artifact Lancio, we talked about it before, the quarter century secret rare is spiking even heavier as people try to prep for the deck, and you can see it's quickly 20 here on the front page, but thanks to Rarity Collection, a ton of budget options. Also, from the first Rarity Collection, Platinum Secret Veiler is starting to go, and so is Plat Secret Shifter. I recall people not liking these much as the Rarity Collection 2 ones, and I kind of think they are classy, and I do like them to some degree, but I find stuff like the Ultimate Rare specifically for Shifter looks really good, but also Collector Rare for Veiler, in my opinion, looks solid, but I'd go with the Classic Secret Rare. For a couple more dollars, I guess it's considered an upgrade in the mid-max rarities, and the long list thereof now of Veiler mid-max rarities, but be aware, people are targeting these on multiple meta hand traps right now, like Shifter and Veiler. Retro Pack, I actually bought a couple of cards. I told you all I was going to go for the LOB format ones, and I bought a couple of La Jin super rares, and it was a bit hard to piece together from different sellers to get the cheapest price, so I ended up naturally overspending on some cards I didn't need. Like, I got a playset of Time Wizards along with one of the La Jins, and I'm like, yeah, that'll be cool in the binder. I got Swords and Monster Reborn, which also hit for LOB format, so I want to get them in, quality check, see what the sellers actually send me versus I've heard a lot of horror stories on quality control in the set. I do want to see what comes in versus being near mint on TCG Player, but again, LOB format, I can't resist. I did get some of the Summon Skulls also, even though I have the secret rare ones. I like to have different options when it comes to Unga Bunga caveman format deck, but didn't buy anything big. Now, multiple buyouts did happen throughout the weekend on this. Sangan was one of them for having a nice version of a past format worded Sangan. That's one of the important things about this set is they keep their old text and were not updated. And another one that got bumped up at one point was Blue Eyes. It was trying to fall towards 25, and then it got bumped up from either people pulling listing / sales, and you can even see one did sell here at 26, 27. I don't know which ones were maybe listed as light play either then, but you can see here it's all above 30 at this point. Also, I feel like people might be overestimating the secrets and at the same time underestimating them, because I haven't seen the most in the world of them pulled. And at the same time, I'm seeing a lot of, I know what I've got, people in the Facebook groups. MCole40's done a video touching on this, but really overestimating their classic cards that were just reprinted, while a ton of them are falling out right here in front of them. I personally did just go in now, even though they may fall a little more, because, like I said, I like my past format decks for the most part, and there's some cheap alternatives. Speaking of past formats and going way up, I was asked for this week. Black Ship of Corn Ultra Rare is headed towards $20, and this is what it was when it was in the metagame. Its max was like 20. It started at 8 to 10, and then spiked up towards 20. And you can see from the sales, all of those 10 to 12 copies are gone. So I almost feel like history's reliving itself. There is the super rare version. Those are the only two printings if you're playing Hat. This is all specifically for Hat format. I'm hearing murmurs that people think Hat may also be in the YCS Vegas Time Wizard event, and so maybe that's why people are rushing for this a bit more, but I don't think that's necessarily it. I was asked by several pros for Time Wizard Hat specific format cards weeks and weeks ago, so I don't think it's like a sudden leak. I think it's a rumor attaching itself to actual movement that's already happening, but Konami also could pick up on that Hat's popular and end up running Time Wizard formats. In fact, I think all you need to do is have 8 people come up and be like, hey, we want to play this at an event, then you get to play the actual format for it. Constellar Pallades DT is doing well for itself all of a sudden as well. It's really spiked up, and I know we touched on Emerald. Now its DT has gone completely from the market. So I got to the cards. Let's also talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Watches. I'm not a watch guy, but these are certainly making me reconsider a little. I feel like every time a really cool Yu-Gi-Oh! Watch comes out, I start to. I've even seen Susu from Head to Head Battles talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Watches. I'm not a watch guy. I don't know brands, but yeah, this is Universe. I believe, I don't know if there's a different saying for it, but these will all be sold in Taiwanese dollars, and as you can see, it's around 250 US for some of them, while others are higher. I think the entire collection goes around $1,250 or $1,500. There's also a Dark Magician Girl. I think the Dark Magician with the purple looks good. If this was 7 stars instead of the stars being a random design, I might have actually bid, and they even put the 7 there next to him. And then you have Blue Eyes at 8. I see what they did, but the Blue Eyes looks like it's doing an attack with the clock arms, and that looks cool to me too. And then there's Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I don't think the Dark Magician Girl looks all that good, is why I showed these 4 after being shown the collab, but it comes out September 16th. I don't really know the website, or I've never really bought from over there, so I don't know how to navigate it, but I think this looks really cool. It's the first time I'm actually considering buying a watch. I just hate how they feel personally, and I'm not the biggest fan, but I really do like the Dark Magician one. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the discussions. And the main reason I show stuff like this is to show Yu-Gi-Oh! Is digging even more and more into different directional collabs that are official. And I think that's pretty awesome and good for the brand as well. But I really do hope they fix this freaking format.